fancier contacts me. His race results are declining, not catastrophically. He's still placing, but where he used to finish in the top 10 regularly, now he's finishing in the 20s and 30s. His birds return from races looking more exhausted than they used to. Recovery takes longer. Some birds that finish strong early in the season now struggle in middle-distance races. He's tried everything he can think of: changed feed formulas, adjusted training schedule, added supplements, checked for disease. Everything comes back normal. The birds aren't sick. They're just not performing at the level they should based on their genetics and training. He's frustrated and confused. I ask him to walk me through his complete management protocol. Feed, training, loft conditions, everything. We get to water. Tell me about your water management, I say. I'm careful with water, he explains. I change it every day, sometimes twice a day in hot weather. I use filtered water because our tap water has high chlorine. I clean the drinkers weekly with soap and water. I thought I had water management figured out. When you change to filtered water, do you add anything back to it? I ask. Add anything? No. It's filtered. It's pure. Why would I add anything? And there's the problem. Right there. This fancier, like 95% of pigeon fanciers, thinks water quality is about removing contaminants. It is, but it's not only about that. Water quality for racing pigeons is about providing what birds need, not just removing what they don't need. And when you filter or purify water to remove contaminants, you often remove minerals and electrolytes that birds require. You're giving them empty water, technically clean but nutritionally inadequate. His birds were chronically mildly dehydrated despite drinking plenty of water. The filtered water lacked the mineral content needed for proper cellular hydration. They were drinking volume, but not getting hydration quality. After races, when their electrolyte stores were depleted and they desperately needed to restore mineral balance, they were drinking pure water that couldn't replace what they'd lost. They stayed in deficit. Recovery was slow, performance declined progressively through the season. The solution was simple: add minerals and electrolytes back to the filtered water. We started with basic electrolyte supplementation after races and moderate mineral addition to daily water. Within 3 weeks, visible difference. Birds recovered faster after races. Energy levels improved. Eyes became brighter. Race positions started improving. By end of season, he was back to top 10 finishes. Same birds, same training, same everything except water mineralization. That one change made that much difference. This scenario is incredibly common. Fanciers focus enormous attention on feed, supplements, training, healthcare, all important things. But they think water is simple. Keep it clean. Change it regularly. Done. They miss that water quality and water composition matter as much as water cleanliness. They miss that different water situations require different management. They miss that what birds need from water changes based on activity level, weather, and physiological state. Today we're covering everything you need to know about water management for racing pigeons. Not the basics like changing water daily. Everyone knows that. The advanced understanding of what birds actually need from water, why filtered or purified water can be problematic, what you should add to water in different situations, how to test water quality, and how to optimize water to support maximum performance. This is information that most fanciers never learn, and that makes substantial difference in results. Let's start with understanding what water actually does in a bird's body and what that tells us about water quality requirements. Water is not just liquid to prevent thirst. Water is the medium for every biochemical process in the body: digestion, circulation, temperature regulation, waste removal, nutrient transport. Everything depends on adequate quality water. For water to function properly at cellular level, it needs to have appropriate mineral and electrolyte content. The body's fluids, blood, intracellular fluid, extracellular fluid, all have specific concentrations of dissolved minerals, primarily sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals. When a bird drinks water, that water needs to have mineral content that's compatible with the body's needs. If the bird drinks water with appropriate mineral content, the water is absorbed efficiently into the bloodstream and then distributed to cells throughout the body. Cellular hydration happens properly. The bird is well hydrated despite drinking moderate water volume. If the bird drinks water that's too pure, completely lacking minerals, that water is actually slightly problematic for cellular hydration. The body has to either add minerals to the water from its own stores before the water can be used properly, or the pure water dilutes body fluids slightly, disrupting the careful balance of mineral concentrations that cells need. The bird drinks but doesn't hydrate optimally. Over time, especially during high-demand periods like racing season, this suboptimal hydration accumulates into problems. This is exactly what happens with heavily filtered or distilled water. The filtration process that removes chlorine and contaminants also removes beneficial minerals. You're left with very pure water that's free of bad stuff, but also free of good stuff. For humans, drinking this water is usually fine because we get abundant minerals from food. For birds, especially racing pigeons under high physical demand, The mineral-depleted water can create chronic mild dehydration and electrolyte imbalance despite adequate water intake. Now let's discuss the specific problems different types of water create. Understanding each water source's strengths and weaknesses helps you manage it appropriately. Municipal tap water varies enormously in quality depending on source and treatment. Some municipal water is excellent for pigeons, naturally mineral-rich from well sources, lightly treated, safe, and beneficial. Other municipal water is heavily treated with chlorine or chloramine to ensure safety, which makes it safe for humans but problematic for birds. Chlorine and chloramine are respiratory irritants. Birds drinking heavily chlorinated water experience mild chronic respiratory irritation that doesn't cause obvious disease but impairs performance. High chlorine water also disrupts gut microbiome. The chlorine that kills bacteria in water pipes also kills beneficial bacteria in the bird's digestive system. Birds drinking chlorinated water long-term develop less robust beneficial bacterial populations in their gut, which impairs digestion, nutrient absorption, and immune function. Some municipal water has high levels of other dissolved substances, fluoride, heavy metals. How do you know if your municipal water is problematic? Smell it. If you can smell chlorine when you pour a glass, it's heavily chlorinated. Taste it. If it tastes chemical or metallic or unpleasant, birds won't like it either. Check your municipal water quality report. Most municipalities publish this online. Look for chlorine levels, fluoride, heavy metals, anything that's present in concerning quantities. If your municipal water is good quality, low treatment chemicals, good mineral content, no contaminants, you can use it directly for birds. If it's heavily treated or contaminated, you need to address the problems through filtration, chlorine removal, or using alternative water source. Filtered water through carbon filters or similar systems removes chlorine, many chemicals, and some contaminants. This is good, but as discussed, filtration also removes beneficial minerals in some cases, especially if you're using reverse osmosis or distillation, which remove essentially everything. You're trading one problem for another. You've removed the chlorine, good, but you've also removed minerals, less good. Filtered water through simple carbon filters usually retains most minerals while removing chlorine and chemicals. This is probably the best approach if you're filtering. Heavy filtration through reverse osmosis or distillation requires that you remineralize the water afterward, or accept that you need to supplement minerals through other routes. Bottled water quality varies by brand. Some bottled water is basically filtered tap water, okay but not special. Some is spring water with good natural mineral content, better. Some is distilled or reverse osmosis water marketed as pure, problematic for the reasons discussed. Read labels. Choose bottled water that has natural mineral content. Look for words like spring water or mineral water, not distilled or purified. Well water quality depends entirely on the well source. Some wells provide excellent naturally mineralized water, perfect for birds. Other wells have contamination issues, bacteria, nitrates from agriculture, heavy metals, parasites. Well water should be tested periodically to ensure safety. If tests show good quality, well water is often excellent for birds because it has natural minerals without chemical treatment. Rainwater collected properly can be excellent for birds. It's naturally soft, free of chemicals, but very low in minerals. If you use rainwater, you'll need to add minerals. Rainwater also needs to be filtered to remove any contaminants from roofs and collection systems. Given all this, what's the best water approach for most fanciers? The answer is, start with the best available clean water source. Whether that's good municipal water, filtered water, well water, whatever you have access to. Then adjust that water to meet birds' needs through strategic supplementation. Let's discuss exactly what to add to water and when. This is where most fanciers have zero knowledge and huge opportunity for improvement. First, daily baseline water should have moderate mineral content. If your source water is naturally mineralized, good municipal water or well water, you probably don't need to add minerals daily. If your source water is heavily filtered or naturally low in minerals, you should add minerals to bring it to appropriate level. How much mineral content is appropriate? There's no single answer because it depends on minerals in the food and individual bird needs. But general guideline is water should taste very slightly salty or minerally, not pure and flat. If you taste your water and it tastes like nothing, very pure, it probably needs minerals. If it tastes slightly mineral or slightly salty, it probably has adequate minerals. The easiest way to add minerals to daily water is using a small amount of sea salt, not regular table salt, which is pure sodium chloride, but real sea salt, which contains sodium plus many trace minerals. Add approximately 1 gram of sea salt per liter of water. That's roughly 1/4 teaspoon per liter. Mix thoroughly, taste it. It should taste very slightly salty, noticeable but not strong. This provides sodium, some potassium, magnesium, calcium, and trace minerals that support normal body functions. Some fanciers use liquid mineral supplements designed for drinking water. These are available from Pigeon supply companies or agricultural suppliers. Follow the dosage instructions. These products typically provide balanced minerals without requiring you to measure sea salt. For daily water, don't add too much. You're supporting baseline needs, not loading birds with minerals. Light supplementation. Save heavy supplementation for specific high-demand situations. Second, post-race water requires electrolyte replacement, not just minerals. After racing, birds have depleted their electrolyte stores through hours of intense exercise and respiration. They need to rapidly replace sodium, potassium, and chloride primarily, plus glucose for quick energy and minerals for recovery. The electrolyte mixture I described in previous videos is appropriate here. 1 liter of water, 1.5 grams sea salt, about 1/4 teaspoon, 1/4 teaspoon potassium chloride if available, or salt substitute, 1 tablespoon honey or glucose, 1 teaspoon lemon juice. Mix thoroughly. Provide this electrolyte solution to returning race birds for the first 2 to 3 hours after arrival. This solution matches approximately what sports drinks provide for human athletes, but with more appropriate concentrations for birds and without artificial ingredients. The sodium replaces what was lost in respiration. The potassium replaces what was depleted in muscle function. The glucose provides immediate energy for recovery processes. The mild acidity from lemon juice aids absorption and taste. Birds returning from races will drink this solution heavily if they're properly formulated. They're desperately thirsty and their bodies recognize they need these specific nutrients. If birds don't drink the electrolyte solution eagerly, it might be too concentrated or taste wrong. Dilute slightly and try again. After 2 to 3 hours of electrolyte water, transition to plain water or lightly mineralized water. The heavy electrolyte supplementation is only needed in the immediate post-race window. Continuing it beyond 3 to 4 hours isn't beneficial and might cause birds to drink less because the taste becomes tiresome. Third, during hot weather or high training demand, birds need increased electrolytes beyond baseline, but not as much as post-race. Hot weather increases water intake and mineral loss through increased respiration. Heavy training demands more minerals for muscle recovery. During these periods, use moderate electrolyte supplementation daily, approximately half the concentration of post-race mixture. Fourth, during molting, birds need increased minerals, particularly calcium and trace minerals for feather synthesis. Add mineral supplement or slightly increase sea salt in daily water during molting period. The exact amount isn't critical, but providing somewhat more minerals supports the intense physiological demands of growing new feathers. Fifth, during breeding, hens need increased calcium for eggshell formation. This is usually provided through calcium sources like grit or cuttlebone, but ensuring adequate minerals in water also helps. Slightly increase sea salt or mineral supplementation in breeding loft water during laying periods. Now let's discuss what not to add to water because many fanciers add things that are unnecessary, harmful, or counterproductive. Don't add sugar routinely. Some fanciers add table sugar to water, thinking it provides energy. Sugar in water without electrolytes can actually worsen dehydration by drawing water into the gut, rather than facilitating absorption. Sugar is appropriate in post-race electrolyte mixture, where it's combined with electrolytes that facilitate absorption, but not in daily water by itself. Don't add medications routinely. Some fanciers add antibiotics or other medications to water as preventive treatment. This is terrible practice. It doesn't prevent disease effectively. It creates antibiotic-resistant bacteria, it disrupts gut microbiome, and it makes birds taste medicate constantly, which can cause them to drink less. Only medicate when there's diagnosed disease requiring treatment. Don't add excessive vitamins. Some fanciers add vitamin supplements to water routinely. Vitamins are generally provided adequately through food. If you feel vitamin supplementation is needed, use it strategically during high-demand periods, not daily year-round. Don't add apple cider vinegar in large quantities routinely. Vinegar is useful in small amounts as mild acidifier and probiotic support, roughly 1 to 2 teaspoons per liter. Some fanciers add much more, thinking more is better. Excessive vinegar makes water taste sour, reduces intake, and can over-acidify digestive system. Use vinegar moderately, if at all. Don't add multiple supplements simultaneously. If you're adding minerals and electrolytes and vitamins and vinegar all to the same water, you're creating complicated mixture that might taste terrible and that birds might refuse to drink. Use 1 or 2 supplements appropriately, not everything at once. The principle is, water supplementation should be strategic and targeted. Add what's needed when it's needed, not everything all the time. Daily baseline is light minerals. If your water lacks them, nothing else. Post-race is heavy electrolytes for 2 to 3 hours. Other situations get specific appropriate supplementation. Simple, targeted, effective. Now let's discuss the 10-second water test you can do immediately to assess whether your current water is likely problematic. This isn't laboratory analysis. This is quick, practical assessment that catches obvious problems. Test 1. Smell the water. Pour a glass of your Pigeon water. Smell it immediately. Do you smell chlorine? If yes, your water is heavily chlorinated and you should filter it or let it sit open to air for several hours before giving to birds. which allows some chlorine to evaporate. Do you smell chemicals, plastic, mold, or any other off odors? If yes, investigate and address the source. Test 2. Taste the water. This might seem strange, but it's highly informative. Take a sip of your Pigeon water. How does it taste? Pure water should taste clean, possibly very slightly minerally, but not unpleasant. If it tastes strongly chemical, metallic, sulfurous, or otherwise unpleasant, birds probably don't like drinking it either and are drinking less than they should. If it tastes completely flat and pure like distilled water, it lacks minerals. Test 3. Look at the water. Pour water into a clear glass and hold it up to light. Is the water completely clear, or does it have cloudiness, visible particles, color tint? Water should be clear. Any cloudiness or particles means contamination that needs filtration. Slight yellow or brown tint might indicate minerals, which isn't necessarily bad, but orange or green tints usually indicate contamination. Test 4. Check the drinker condition. Look at your water drinkers after they've been in use for one day. Is there algae starting to grow? Green film on walls or slime in the water? This indicates water that's rich in nutrients, which sounds good but actually means nutrients that feed algae and bacteria, often from contaminants. Clean water doesn't support rapid algae growth. If you have algae problems constantly, your water source might be contaminated. These 4 observations, smell, taste, appearance, drinker condition, take literally 10 seconds total and give you immediate sense of whether your water has obvious problems. Most problems are detectable through these simple tests without laboratory analysis. If tests reveal problems, address them before worrying about advanced supplementation. Fix the foundation, clean safe water, before optimizing the details. Now let's discuss natural water protectors that top lofts use. These are additions to water that provide multiple benefits. Mild antimicrobial effect to keep water fresher longer, probiotic support for gut health, palatability to encourage drinking. The most common and effective natural water protector is apple cider vinegar. As mentioned earlier, raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar contains acetic acid, which has mild antimicrobial properties, beneficial bacteria and enzymes that support digestion, and organic acids that slightly acidify water, making it less hospitable to pathogenic bacteria. The dosage is 1 to 2 teaspoons per liter of water. Don't exceed this. More is not better. The water should taste very slightly tart, almost unnoticeable, not sour. If birds are rejecting water with vinegar, you've added too much. Use apple cider vinegar 2 to 3 times per week, not daily. Giving birds plain water some days ensures they're getting variety and not becoming dependent on the vinegar taste. Some fanciers use oregano oil as water additive. Oregano oil has strong antimicrobial properties and can support respiratory and digestive health. However, it's very potent and can taste strong, causing birds to drink less. If using oregano oil, use tiny amounts, 1 drop per liter, not more. And don't use daily. Maybe once or twice per week at most. Garlic juice or crushed garlic in water is used by some fanciers for antimicrobial properties. Garlic does have beneficial compounds, but again, the taste can be off-putting. If using garlic, use it sparingly and monitor water intake to ensure birds aren't avoiding water because they dislike the taste. Honey in small amounts has mild antimicrobial properties and provides energy. 1 teaspoon of honey per liter can be added occasionally, particularly during high-demand periods. Don't use honey in hot weather as it can ferment rapidly. Use it in moderate weather and ensure water is changed frequently. The principle with natural protectors is use them to support water quality and bird health. But don't make water taste so strange that birds drink less. Water intake is more important than any additive benefit. If additives reduce water intake, they're counterproductive regardless of their theoretical benefits. Now let's discuss water temperature, because this affects how much birds drink and how quickly they rehydrate. Water temperature should be comfortable, not cold, not hot, roughly room temperature or slightly cool. Very cold water, ice cold from refrigerator, can be shocking to birds' system and might cause them to drink less. It's not dangerous, but it's not optimal. In hot weather, cool water is appealing to birds and encourages drinking. Just don't make it so cold it's uncomfortable. Hot water, warm from sitting in sun, is unappetizing and birds avoid it. In hot weather, ensure drinkers are shaded so water stays cool. If water gets too warm, change it even if you changed it recently. In cold weather, water can freeze. Frozen water is useless. Ensure drinkers are in locations that don't freeze. Inside the loft, warmed areas, or use heated drinkers if necessary. Birds need access to liquid water at all times. The ideal temperature range is roughly 15 to 25 degrees Celsius. Within that range, birds drink readily and absorption is efficient. Let's discuss water intake monitoring, because knowing whether your birds are drinking adequately is crucial. Adequate water intake is more important than any other aspect of water management. Healthy birds drink regularly throughout the day, many small drinking sessions rather than one large drink. Total daily water intake varies with weather, activity level, and diet. But as rough guideline, a racing pigeon might drink 50 to 100 milliliters per day in moderate conditions. In hot weather or after racing, intake can be much higher, several hundred milliliters. You can estimate water intake by measuring how much water you provide and how much remains at the end of the day. For example, if you have 10 birds and you provide 1 liter of water in the morning and 500 milliliters remain in the evening, the birds drank 500 milliliters, so average 50 milliliters per bird. This is rough because some water evaporates and some might spill, but it gives you general sense. More practically, observe birds at the drinker. Healthy birds approach water multiple times per day, drink for several seconds, then move away. If you see birds drinking frequently, that's good. If you rarely see birds at the drinker, they might not be drinking adequately. This could be because water tastes bad, drinker is malfunctioning, birds are ill, or some other problem. If you suspect inadequate water intake, address possible causes. Check water quality. Ensure drinkers are working properly. Verify water temperature is comfortable. Make sure water is accessible. Some shy birds might not be able to reach drinkers if dominant birds block access. Observe for any health issues that might reduce drinking. Adequate water intake is absolutely foundational. Everything else about water management is secondary to ensuring birds are actually drinking enough. Now let's discuss water drinker selection and maintenance, because the device you use to provide water matters. There are several types of drinkers, each with advantages and disadvantages. Open dishes or trays are simplest but problematic. Birds can contaminate the water by walking in it, defecating in it, bathing in it. Open water also collects debris and evaporates rapidly. Open dishes are acceptable for very temporary use or in situations where you're monitoring closely and changing water multiple times daily, but not ideal for general use. Fountain drinkers, where water is contained in a reservoir and flows into a small dish as birds drink, work well. The water stays relatively clean because birds can't access the reservoir. These are good general-purpose drinkers. Clean them thoroughly when refilling because algae and bacteria grow in the reservoir if not maintained. Nipple drinkers, where birds press a nipple mechanism to release water, keep water very clean because it's completely enclosed until birds drink. These require birds to learn the system, and some birds never adapt well to nipple drinkers. If using nipples, ensure all birds know how to use them through training. Check regularly that nipples aren't clogged or malfunctioning. Automatic waters connected to water source provide fresh water continuously. These are convenient for large operations but require regular cleaning and monitoring to ensure quality. The convenience of automatic watering can lead to neglect of water quality checking, which is dangerous. Whatever drinker type you use, clean it regularly, at minimum weekly, more often if you see algae or slime developing. Cleaning protocol is scrub with brush and hot water to remove all visible contamination, rinse thoroughly, allow to dry. Don't use harsh chemicals because residues can contaminate water. If using any cleaning product, rinse extremely thoroughly. The number of drinkers and their capacity should ensure birds always have access to water. As rough guideline, 1 drinker per 10 to 15 birds, with enough capacity that water doesn't run out between your changes. Better to have excess capacity than risk running out. Now let's discuss seasonal water management variations. Water needs change based on weather and activity level, requiring adjustments. Summer, hot weather, increase water provision because intake increases dramatically. Birds drink 2 to 3 times more in hot weather than moderate weather. Ensure drinkers don't run empty. Change water more frequently, twice daily because it warms rapidly and becomes unappetizing. Consider adding electrolytes to daily water, not just post-race because heat stress depletes minerals. Shade drinkers so water stays cool. Monitor for dehydration signs more carefully in hot weather. Winter, cold weather, ensure water doesn't freeze. This might require moving drinkers to warmer loft areas or using heated drinkers. Water intake decreases in cold weather, but birds still need access. Don't let the reduced intake make you complacent about water quality. Cold weather water can still become contaminated even if birds drink less. Racing season, implement post-race electrolyte protocol strictly. Provide electrolyte water immediately after races for 2 to 3 hours. Use light mineral supplementation in daily water to support high activity demands. Monitor water intake carefully because racing stress can cause some birds to drink less, and those birds need attention. Molting season, increase mineral supplementation slightly to support feather growth. Ensure adequate calcium and trace minerals. This is good time to use mineral supplements in water daily for the several weeks when molting is most intense. Breeding season, increase calcium availability for laying hens. This is primarily through grit and cuttlebone, but ensuring good mineral content in water supports it. Monitor that breeding birds drink adequately. Sometimes birds get so focused on breeding activities they neglect drinking, which is problematic. Now let's discuss testing your water management improvements to verify they're working. After implementing changes, you should see measurable improvements in bird condition and performance if your water was previously problematic. First indicator is recovery speed after races. Birds should return to normal behavior, eating, drinking, active more quickly after implementing proper hydration management. If recovery time decreases noticeably, your water changes are working. Second indicator is race performance. Birds should maintain energy better through the racing season rather than declining as season progresses. Better hydration supports sustained performance. Third indicator is eye brightness and feather quality. These reflect overall health status. Proper hydration contributes to better eye appearance and feather condition. Fourth indicator is droppings consistency. Birds with proper hydration produce firm, well-formed droppings. Chronic mild dehydration causes slightly loose droppings. If droppings become more consistent after water changes, that's a positive sign. Monitor these indicators over several weeks after implementing changes. Don't expect immediate dramatic transformation though. Sometimes you do see that. More commonly, gradual improvement over weeks as bird systems adapt to better hydration and mineral status. If you implement water improvements and see no benefits, consider whether your water wasn't actually the problem. Maybe your water was already adequate and the problems lie elsewhere. Or maybe you're not implementing the improvements correctly. Wrong dosages, wrong timing. Adjust and experiment carefully. Let's discuss the economic aspect, because some fanciers worry that proper water management is expensive. It's not. The cost is negligible relative to benefits. Sea salt costs maybe €2 for a container that lasts months. Honey or glucose for post-race electrolytes is a few euros. Apple cider vinegar is a few euros. Total investment for proper water supplementation is under €20 per year. Compared to cost of birds, feed, race entries, and everything else in the sport, water supplementation is essentially free. The return on investment is substantial. Birds that maintain proper hydration and mineral status perform better, recover faster, stay healthier, and last longer in the sport. The competitive advantage from optimal water management far exceeds the trivial cost. There's no excuse for not implementing proper water management based on cost. The knowledge barrier is the only real barrier, and you're overcoming that by learning this information. Finally, let's discuss championship perspective. Top fanciers don't overlook water. They recognize it as foundational. Leo Harriman's was known for fastidious water management, changing water twice daily, adding electrolytes after races, monitoring quality obsessively. He didn't assume water was simple or unimportant. He treated it as a critical element requiring attention. Louis van der Velde similarly emphasized water quality. He tested his water source, understood its characteristics, and supplemented appropriately. He didn't use tap water blindly. He knew what was in it and adjusted accordingly. These championship fanciers achieved their success partly through attention to details that others overlook. Water was one of those details. They optimized it, they managed it strategically, and their birds benefited through better hydration, better recovery, better performance. You can do the same. You can move beyond the assumption that clean water is good enough. You can understand what birds need from water beyond cleanliness. You can supplement appropriately. You can monitor intake and adjust strategically. You can turn water from potential problem into performance advantage. The framework is clear. Provide clean water from good source or filtered source. Add light minerals to daily water if your source is low in minerals, approximately 1/4 teaspoon sea salt per liter. Provide electrolyte water after races for 2 to 3 hours. Sea salt plus potassium plus honey plus lemon. Use natural protectors like apple cider vinegar strategically, 1 to 2 teaspoons per liter, 2 to 3 times per week. Ensure water temperature is comfortable. Monitor intake to verify birds are drinking adequately. Clean drinkers weekly minimum. Adjust seasonally for weather and activity demands. That's complete water management. It's not complicated. It requires some thought and some strategic supplementation. But the effort is minimal and the benefits are substantial. Start with your very next water change. Taste your current water. Does it taste pure and flat, or does it have slight mineral taste? If it's pure and flat, add sea salt. Mix thoroughly. Taste again, slight mineral flavor, good. Provide that to your birds and observe over the coming week whether they seem to drink more eagerly and show better condition. After your next race, prepare electrolyte water using the formula provided. Offer it to returning birds. Watch how eagerly they drink it. Monitor their recovery compared to previous races. You should see improvement. Over the season, refine your approach based on results. Maybe your birds respond particularly well to certain supplements and not to others. Maybe your specific water source has specific characteristics requiring specific management. Learn through observation and adjustment, but don't continue assuming clean water is adequate. It's necessary but not sufficient. Birds need mineralized water, electrolyte-rich water after racing, and strategic supplementation for various demands. Provide that and watch your program improve through this simple but powerful optimization. The water mistake you've been making is assuming removal of contaminants creates optimal water. It creates clean water, which is a good start, but optimal water requires adding back what birds need. minerals, electrolytes, strategic natural protectors, temperature management, intake monitoring, fix the water, optimize the hydration, and watch your birds fly stronger, recover faster, and perform better throughout the racing season. Water, the foundation of life, the foundation of performance, the foundation of recovery. Get it right and everything else works better. Get it wrong, even with the best intentions like filtered water, and you're handicapping your birds without realizing it. You now know what right looks like. Clean water plus strategic supplementation, mineral balance, electrolyte replenishment, natural support, proper provision. Implement it starting today. Your birds will show you through their performance and condition that you've fixed one of the most commonly overlooked problems in pigeon racing. Clean water isn't enough. Your birds need balanced water. Now you know how to provide it. Make it happen.